Brad Pitt's new $464 million racing flick is a perfect follow-up to this 6-year-old drama with 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. Director Joseph Kosinski brought his visual and storytelling talents from the skies of Top Gun, Maverick to the racetracks of F1. The new movie hit theaters at the end of June, and audiences and critics alike raved over the thrilling sequences, incredible moments, and perfect performances. Brad Pitt stars as an age racer taking on the new challenge of F1 racing in order to save his friend's company. It's an exciting movie, perfect for the current sports climate, as F1 has recently grown to become an international phenomenon. While audiences loved this film, some thought that F1 was slightly reminiscent of another incredible racing film from 2019 called Ford v Ferrari. Ford v Ferrari was inspired by true events and tells the adrenaline-fueled tale of how the Ford car company managed to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1966. The film stars Matt Damon as car designer Carroll Shelby and Christian Bale as racer Ken Miles. The pair make the perfect team on and off screen, and James Mangold gloriously directs the entire film. The film took home the Academy Awards for Best Film Editing and Best Sound Editing. Years later, audiences still look back on the film for being the exciting story that it is, and it is considered to be one of the greatest modern racing movies of the genre. It's a good sign when audiences draw comparisons between Ford v Ferrari and the new F1 film. Ford v Ferrari was inspired by true events. James Mangold had already made a big name for himself in Hollywood for directing Logan, the swan song for the classic X-Men character Wolverine, in a neo-noir western superhero epic that was more character-focused than most other genre flicks. Mangold had been behind other incredible character-driven films, such as Girl, Interrupted, Identity, and Walk the Line. For Ford v Ferrari, he jumps back into the director's chair to tell the true story of how Ford managed to beat Ferrari in one of the most important races at the time. Both Christian Bale and Matt Damon lead the film alongside other incredible actors, such as Josh Lucas, Ray McKinnon, and the incredible John Bernthal. The film doesn't simply dive into the story of how a racer manages to beat the odds and win the most important race of his career, but focuses more on corporate greed, battling egos, and pride that almost got in the way. After the Ford company hears an insult from Ferrari, it buckles down and focuses on beating Ferrari at its own game. Ford hires former racer and car designer Carroll Shelby, who recruits a passionate oddball racing genius Ken Miles. Both Shelby and Miles rub up against the corporate suits of Ford, particularly the vindictive Leo Beebe. Their team will work together as best they can to design an entirely new car that could outrun the great and powerful Ferrari. The plot description might not sound as unique to other racing movies as it's given credit for, but not many racing movies have that much of a unique story in the first place. What separates this film from the others is its electrifying characters and its sense of authenticity. Ford v Ferrari, originally titled Go Like Hell Le Mans 66, is based on true events. Though like many movies based in reality, the film took a few creative liberties. Simplifying time frames and adjusting some rivalries, it largely stayed faithful to the real story. Racing movies are released few and far between, but Ford v Ferrari proved that the genre is much more than a specific niche. The film balances historical moments with so much exciting tension and heart-racing moments, keeping viewers glued to their seats till the very last few tragic minutes. The film doesn't take major creative liberties with the well-worn genre, and yet it still manages to feel extremely unique, exciting, and memorable in its own way. The film was nominated for 4 Academy Awards and deservedly won 2, including Best Film Editing and Best Sound Editing. Ford v Ferrari might not have stayed within the public's mind for too long in a year full of massive releases like Avengers, Endgame, The Lion King, Toy Story 4, and more, but it's fittingly considered one of the greatest racing movies of the decade. F1 is made for modern audiences while Ford v Ferrari was steeped in legacy. F1 is the perfect movie for today's audiences and beyond. The film is directed by Top Gun, Maverick director Joseph Kosinski, and stars Brad Pitt as a retired racer named Sonny Hayes. When his friend, played by Javier Bardem, asks him to return to racing and mentor a younger, more reckless teammate, played by Damson Idris, Hayes will take on the new challenge. They'll quickly learn that the battles are not only going to be on the racetrack, but between each other as well. Kosinski's name already suggests that F1 will be one of the biggest spectacles of the year, and it absolutely was. This is a perfect time to release a film about the sport, as F1 has taken the entire world by storm. The faster, sleeker way of racing has become just as big as any other major sport. Critics and fans alike have praised F1 for not only its smooth and effortless direction and dynamic, fun performances, but also for how the movie captures the intense physical and mental toll of the sport. Obviously, there are plenty of big, flashy, tense sequences, such as a major car crash that happens halfway through the film, but there are also plenty of smaller moments that show the real struggles F1 drivers go through in order to perform at their best. The film doesn't shy away from the high risks, relentless media pressure, and split-second decision-making that define racing, especially in F1. Much like Top Gun, Maverick, F1 is a big-budget experience that's grounded by human stakes, giving the spectacle emotional weight that audiences can get attached to and enjoy. The timing of this film couldn't be better. Formula One racing has exploded in popularity over the past few years, thanks in large part to Netflix's Drive to Survive. That series turned drivers into household names and brought new fans into the fold. Every year, the sport seems to be growing in international popularity, and this film comes at the perfect time. Not only is it made for fans who understand the sport and its exciting moments, but also for audiences who are new to the sport. The global nature of it, its dazzling speed, and its interwoven personal rivalries make it right for a Hollywood adaptation, and F1 delivers on all accounts. It feels like a movie made for today's generation, fast, stylish, and emotionally resonant, with a sharp awareness of the sport's growing cultural influence. Audiences loved F1 and Ford v Ferrari F1 sped into theaters with a massive budget of around $200 to $300 million and sped away with around $500 million. While it might not be the financial hit the studios could have been hoping for, F1 still made a cultural impact this summer at the movies. Audiences enjoyed the thrilling races, dazzling visuals, exciting performances, and bold ideas for the story. The biggest strength of the film has to be how the movie handles the newly popular sport of Formula One racing. Although it's not a film that takes many bold steps away from what audiences have come to know and love from the racing genre, it's still an extremely enjoyable film. Similarly, audiences are reminded of another unique racing film with Ford v Ferrari. Both movies have strong performances from seasoned actors, and both films center around racing. The major difference, and yet its strongest,